welcome again, and so we're moving quite rapidly in the year. Like I always tell people, I want to turn your attention to we have an issue with early voting, and I am a proponent. I feel that everyone should have to exercise the opportunity to exercise their civil duty. Oftentimes, I really don't like it at the expense of um, students. And so for us, early voting is not going to work, but we're going to manage, right? We have to make it work for us. And they're taking the cafeteria. So now, with the whole pressure of social distancing, which is a challenge in the cafeteria, um, and the space is also utilized for physical education, right? Um, we're now are not going to have that, and so now we have to struggle to find space appropriate enough for kids to eat. Um, the I think it's the office of um, it's not the DOE, but it's forgot the name of that department, but their way of solving the issue is to put a tent in the playground, which again now subtracts the kids' ability after lunch to go out and exert energy, right? And so that's actually is going to be 10 days, not one day. One day is we could say we could struggle for one day, but this is going to be 10 days, which early voting is going to take place in our school. And so the move was to try to find a place so that this activity can happen. But again, we were told that we have to make it work. And so that's what we're doing. We're going to try to make it work. So please understand that there is going to be some challenges as we begin to feed the 475 students that we have in our building. Um, Actually, more than that, but we're going to make it. We're going to make it work. Um, and so hopefully it doesn't rain, because once it rains, then that's going to even be a challenge. But you're gonna hear stories about. Hopefully, that will be a great experience. So we want to make it. They say when you have lemons, you have to make lemonade, right? And so we're gonna move forward, um, and that's what we're gonna do. The other, as we are hopefully entering now into November, teachers already made the assessments. We have a data picture of your students, of your children, and so a lot of the data that we have from previous years don't really align to what the teachers are experiencing now. And so, in order to be transparent, and in order to look at learning loss, we are going to be communicating every step of the way. And our purpose to communicate is, one, to let you know, and two, to find a way. We have to find a way to get you into the building. I'm trying to find the best appropriate way to bring folks into the building and maintain the social distancing guidelines. The only thing that I cannot do is have unvaccinated and vaccinated people in the same space. Um, but we have to find a way to bring you in when we have when your children are not performing, or when they're not online or on course to either attend the ceremony or reach promotional criteria. And so I know that all the virtual parent conferences are, all the parent conferences are now virtual, but we have to, find a way to bring you into the building so that you can see, what really, how do you support, the your children, your children, and how do we make it work? And so that's the things that's what I'm working on. I started advocating for that yesterday, and I didn't receive anything negative about it. I just received, well, let's just wait and see what happens. But in the meantime, as we wait and see, our kids are falling lower and lower and lower, and so we need to make sure that we address that. Today, I was able to go into the 8th grade because that is the key grade at this point, just to see from the teachers who are on course to be moving to high school next year. And about 50% or about 60% of the children are. There are 40% of the kids are not. And so that's what we want to make sure that we target. If you have an 8th grader, please continue to have that conversation. The learning loss is real. Kids are going to be taking a test, and again, exams are not going to be that predictor, or we don't use tests as a predictor for to demonstrate whether a kid is ready or not. Is the work that they accumulate from now and on. And so teachers are saying that kids are struggling with grade level work, and it's only going to get even harder when they go into high school. So we want to make sure that we address those issues now, and that we come together and find what is the most appropriate way to support, because your kids better than anybody else. And so how do we begin to provide strategies that can get the kids back in line? The social, emotional, and the behavior that we experience as a result of not being in school for 19 months is telling. Kids in the 8th grade, never in my 23 years that I've been in this building, kids in the 8th grade usually don't. Okay, so kids in the 8th grade usually don't run around the cafeteria, and so that's some of the behavior that we're experiencing. Some of none of the 8th graders that I experienced in my 23 years are ever on the floor, rolling on the floor. That's that behavior we're seeing with the 8th graders now. And so that year that they lost, that is going to give them hopefully how you kind of like comport yourself from grade to grade was lost. And so it is trivial when we have parties. When we have parties for the 6th grade, kids, tend to be running around, chasing each other, right? That behavior is being witnessed in 8th graders. And so we have to find a way to really address that, because, so we have to just find a way. So we're going to have more communication as we move forward, not only in 8th grade, but in 7th grade, as well as in 6th grade. So we're trying to do that very early on, so that way you're able to have that information. The other is our financial status as a school is very good. We donated today about $24,000 to the district, and that's a result of the type of individuals that I have in this school, and the advocacy that is done here, where we have a lot of resources and we're able to do those things for the district. In a couple of weeks, we're going to transition from our Promethean boards that are 60-inch to 86-inch, and that's going to provide kids more of an opportunity to share the screen, to do a lot of the technological work that's needed. We want to push the envelope and begin to get kids more in tune with what are the technological advances that are in, and how do we advance and have instruction move at a faster pace so that kids can really do. We're going to be doing the robotics programs. There's a lot of things that we have planned. The only issue that we have is that if we do those things, we also need to address when kids are not at grade level. And so we're trying to have your support to provide the necessary accommodations at home so that kids can read on Lysel, and I know Verona is going to speak about that, and kids can do the IXL program. And those things we has to be done at home. So a lot of the heavy lifting and a lot of the catching up has to be done on Saturdays and Sundays, and we're hoping that you can monitor that and help us out with that. In school, it's just not enough time to cover the curriculum that each grade has to take, not alone address the learning loss that took place, for the 19 months that the kids were not in school in person. So we have a lot on our plate. We like, that's what gets us going. Let's find a way to bring you into school. Once I get the okay, we're gonna try to see if we can bring in groups of people so that you guys can have your tours of the building, because it's very important that you know how the class looks, and so we want to be able to do that. On a day that mirrors more or less. If I have to be here by myself, I know that I won't, because I know that a lot of the folks are gonna say, you know what, if you're staying, I stay, right? That's the philosophy we have, so that we can bring you in and provide you with an opportunity to walk the building, so that you see, what our challenges are with the facilities and where your kids are sitting and where your kids, go to school. It's very important that you guys know. And one thing, when you come for school, please know who your teachers are, what grade the kids are in. You want to know the teacher's name. You want to be able to know the class number. You want to be able to know whether or not this is the school that your son or daughter is in. Because sometimes what tends to happen is parents come in requesting a letter, but that child graduated like 2 years ago. And sometimes, it's a little bit embarrassing that we don't know that information. So please, when you come into the building, have that information. And by now, you should have had an opportunity to talk to the teacher. But if you haven't, please, send them an email, call up the office, request an appointment, because this is, your kids are yours. With us, they're just going to be two or 3 years with us, and then they're going to go off. And hopefully what we can do in those 3 years is prepare them to meet the challenges of high school. And so that's what we want to be able to do. But at the end of the day, those are your kids. They're going to be with you until, they leave this earth. But it's important that we understand what our responsibilities are as a school and as a parent. And so that's, I'm going to end with that. Any questions? I'm here. I'll be here. But I know that, but I don't want to, discuss anything, because I'm going to take that away from those individuals that have to report on that. So I know Verona's going to report after school. I know Ceballos is going to report. But if there's any question, feel free.
Yes. Before we go on a question, I just want to remind everybody that this meeting is being recorded, and that we also have visitors here that will be presenting after Ms. Barona and Ms. Ceballos. They are Anthony Carrion and Filomena Acevedo from Hunger Free New York. This is a lot of good information for the community. Please don't leave. And if we're going to move on with Ms. Barona. Ms. Barona is one of the assistant principals at the school. Ms. Barona,
Thank you, Mr. Duran. Thank you, Mr. Duran. Good evening, parents. Good evening. Thank you for your loyalty. Thank you for your support. Thank you for religiously logging on to Google Meet, so we can have these meetings with you every 2 weeks, twice a month. So I'm going to share with you the information about the after school programs, and then a little bit about LIXEL and IXL, like Mr. Mercedes said. So we currently have 3 after school programs that are happening at the same time. So the first one is DreamYard. DreamYard happens 5 days a week from 3 to 5, and it's from 2:50 to 5:50. Then yesterday we introduced the academic intervention program. This one is going to happen 3 times a week Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 3 to 4:30. If your student, your child is in 8th grade, then chances are that they are part of the Regents program. And 701, 702, 601, and 602, those classes, they're also part of the pre-Regents program. And those two programs, they meet on the same days, the same 3 days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but they have 30 more minutes to work on the skills they're learning. So this one ends at 5. This one is from 3 to 5. Come November 3rd, that's going to be on a Wednesday, we will introduce the academic recovery program. And this program is specifically for students that are part of the special education program. In this program, teachers, the special education teachers, they will be providing instruction in a small group, in small group settings, no more than 6 students. So the instruction will be customized, it will be personalized based on the needs of the students. Along those, the special ed teachers, they will also receive related services. The services that are recommended in their IEPs, they would have 2 social workers, 1 guidance counselor, and 1 speech therapist that will be providing the related services as stated in their IEP. Again, this will be starting November 3rd, and the same 3 days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, same time from 3 to 4:30. Now, speaking of Lightsail, Lightsail is the reading application. It's an online application, as you may know. And it has about, I will say, more than 6,000 books for students to choose from. So last week, the students took the assessment that is called the Power Challenge. By them completing that assessment, the application decides what is the reading level. And all the students have taken the assessment, so they know the reading level. Now all that they have to do is read on the application. It is our school-wide goal for students to read at least 1 hour on the Lightsail application. We make sure that within the ELA periods, they read at least 30 minutes. Before the teachers introduce the lesson of the day, they are asked to take their iPads, open the Lightsail application, and read for 30 minutes. And it's not only reading, they also have to answer questions, questions that are multiple choice questions, but they also have to answer brief questions, what we call the short response questions. The data, the information and how many minutes and how well the students are doing on the application is shared with the students and also with the teachers. So if you have, a few minutes, ask your child to click on the Lightsail application and walk you through the process. There you could see, the reading level, how many minutes they have been reading on a monthly basis. And you can also see their growth, how they started reading the first time on, this year on Lightsail and where they are now. The same format goes with the math application that we use that is called IXL Math. IXL Math, they are actually completing the assessment this week. And after that has been completed, it's the same process. The application decides their performance level, how well they're doing in math. And then they are exposed to the different standards and the different activities aligned to their math level. And again, the data gets collected, and teachers and students, they are able to see a weekly report on IXL Math, showing the growth or showing the areas that the student has to continue working. That's it for me. I don't know if you have any questions related to the after-school program or those 2 applications, Lightsail and IXL Math.
Thank you very much, Ms. Verona. That was a lot of information. The teachers are already learning all the platforms and are teaching it to the students. So I'm here to support whoever has any question regarding the platforms that the students are using. So you could always reach out to me. If you have any question for Ms. Barona or Mr. Mercedes, we are open for questions. Ms. Ceballos, you let me know when you're ready. We have ESL classes for free.
Ready when you are.
All right, we have ESL classes for free. So if you know anyone that would like to join the class, it's totally free from 6 to 9 every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. They just have to go to the building at 6 o'clock when the class begins, and the teacher would give them the information on how to register. Ms. Ceballos, all yours.
See, good afternoon, parents. Welcome again. We would like to take this opportunity to continue providing you with a lot of information. I'm going to cover a little bit, Mercedes, of mention about additional programming for the students to continue enriching their life. We also are providing during the week 3 times a day, a week during the physical education classes, so we can minimize the amount of students in the gym. To those students that have an ability and like to do dance, we offering that during the day as well, in addition to visual arts. And what we're doing with the visual arts program is that the students are creating massive artwork that are going to be displayed as mural within the school community. If you ask one of your kids, I don't know if we have a picture to show the parents, but they created a beautiful mural in the cafeteria during the summer, and we want to do that, utilize every single open space in the building so they can display their artwork. One of the things that I needed to cover today was the ACL, or socio-emotional learning, a screening that is coming this month. You will receive a letter this month. Hopefully by Friday, Mr. Duran, the parents will be receiving the letter.
Yes, correct.
And that letter is in a major initiative where it called a Strong and Resilient New York. And the focus of that screening is to assess the students' level of or strength in different areas of social emotional skills, social interactions, interpersonal relationship, self-awareness, self-management, and so forth and so on. So it's not an assessment that is assessing difficulties. It's assessing a strength. It's a strength-based, so therefore the assessment has 40 questions, and those questions will be very straightforward for the kids, just assessing what they feel that they're strong at. Once that assessment is provided to the students, the city has a portal that will be assessing and giving them ratings in the different areas. Based on those ratings, those students that score lower in different areas of social emotional development, let's say that they will say, I have difficulty making friends. So services we put in place to assist the students in those areas of need. And that's part of the academic recovery plan as well. So you will receive a very extensive letter explaining the process to you. As I said, it's not in a screening that is asking for difficulties. On the contrary, we want to see how the kids feel coming back from the pandemic and what is the strength. If you have any question in the letter, you can reach out to any of us. We can walk you through the process. But we are planning to roll out the survey for the kids to complete it at the end of this month or earlier. Okay. So another thing is that Ms. Adorno, who's not here in this meeting today, unfortunately, is going to be reaching out to the families as we're going to start our Leadership Academy for Parents. We want to have a very robust, a strong team to represent parents in leadership through the Leader in Me program. And she's going to be doing training, one-on-one, a small group, and she's going to be doing presentation through this platform as well. So when you hear an invitation for one of those meetings, please jump in, because we're going to be providing certificates to the parents who complete the sessions. Okay. Thank you. Okay.
All right. So if we don't have any question, we will go to our next presenter, Mr. Carrion.
Okay.
Yes.
Again.
Acevedo, Hunger Free New York.
Yes.
The floor is all yours. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we hear you.
Hi, thank you. Good afternoon, parents and teachers. My name is Filomena Acevedo. I'm the Director of Community Organizing, and I work for Hunger Free NYC. And today we bring you the information about SNAP, we, and COVID, and pandemic. My other friend, co-worker, and also the manager of the COVID project is here with me on the screen, on the computer. I have some issue with my computer today, and that is the reason that I'm over the phone with you. I'm very happy to speak to all of you, and hope next time to meet you over the computer. Anthony's going to present to all of you about our program. We have an office here in the Bronx, 938 Sheridan, to help you on SNAP and WE. And we're happy for any question later after Anthony present to all of you. It's important because all this information is needed in this pandemic that is being hitting us so hard, especially here in the Bronx. I do want to thank Maria Villalobos to invite us for this meeting today on this October the 20th. Thank you. We're definitely looking at the same time to let you know ahead of time that we're looking to see if we could have a mobile van coming to your school for the COVID vaccine, which I'm looking to see that will be possible with the permission of the principal, November the 3rd and a Wednesday, but we could talk more later on, but this is something that I was speaking to Ms. Maria Villalobos on this regard, but I just want to pass it to Anthony. Anthony can introduce himself and present to you about the SNAP, COVID, and pandemic disease. It's going to be brief, but it's important. It's very important to all of us. There are things that definitely you could pass to other community, to other parents, and I think you definitely going to have questions, and we're going to present it right now. Anthony, it's all yours.
Thank you, Filomena, and thank you everybody for having us. We really appreciate opportunities like this. We thank Maria for inviting us. So my name is Anthony Carrion, and as Filomena mentioned, I'm a program manager for this COVID outreach project. The idea is we're trying to combat malnutrition, promoting SNAP, WIC, pandemic EBT, and we're trying to combat infection. So we're encouraging people to book appointments and get vaccinated. So I'm going to share my screen. Does everybody see my screen?
Yes.
All right. Perfect. So this is a very condensed presentation, and we're just going to go into the three main programs, and then we'll follow up with the COVID vaccine information. So we'll start with the SNAP program, which stands for the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. Many people still know it as food stamps. Originally in the 1930s, 1960s, this is what it was called. But now, as you can see on the lower right-hand corner, SNAP is available on an EBT debit card called an electronic benefits transfer card, and it's digital. So you can use this card at grocery stores, supermarkets to purchase food. And SNAP is also the most effective and largest anti-hunger program in the United States because it gives families purchasing power to buy food. And hunger here in New York City and throughout the United States is not about a lack of food, it's about a lack of money. So we try to stress this as much as possible. Just very briefly, eligibility for SNAP involves three main components: the size of your household, your level of income, there are income requirements, citizenship, although there's qualified immigration status like refugee status, green card holders, etc. And to determine the benefit amount, they take into consideration your household expenses. And we should mention SNAP is not part of the public charge rule anymore. So that's good news to hear. A little bit about the impact of SNAP. The reason why we advocate strongly about expanding and strengthening this program is because SNAP is such an effective anti-hunger tool. So on the left-hand side, you see Feeding America. For every meal that a charity, a soup kitchen, a food pantry provides, the SNAP program provides 9 meals. It is a multi-billion-dollar program, and it's really effective in terms of its reach and impact. You can At Hunger Free NYC, we have benefits access specialists that can help people to apply, to recertify. They'll take you step by step through the process. On the screen here is a number to call Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 in 4 different languages, and also an email address as well. Don't worry about writing all this information down. We will send this slideshow in a PDF that will be available to all parents after this meeting. So don't worry about jotting all of this down. I do want to make mention of some additional benefits to SNAP. I think some people may have heard of SNAP or may have grown up on SNAP, but few people know that there are additional benefits. For instance, I'm going to mention just 2 very quickly. Health bucks. When you go to farmers markets throughout New York City, you can use your SNAP EBT card, and for every $2 you spend, you get $2 back, and you can receive up to $10 in these health bucks coupons. So as you can see, they look like this on the lower right-hand corner. These coupons that you can use at farmers markets to buy fruits and vegetables. So it allows you to eat better, and it really boosts your spending power. Here are some links to some of the Grow NYC markets where you can purchase. You can use these coupons. You don't have to sign up. You just have to show up with your EBT card, go to the information kiosk, and they'll ask you how much you would like to spend, and they'll give you these coupons on the spot. So it's very, very good program. And lastly, although not least, there's also the Commodity Supplemental Food Program. So if you're on SNAP and you're over 60 years and older, you can receive an additional monthly box of food. There's a link here provided where you can contact your local agency provider. And it's a way of, again, boosting the food packages for seniors on SNAP. Now I'm going to move on to the WIC program. The full name of this program is the Special Supplemental Nutrition Program for Women, Infants, and Children. There are 4 main categories to this program: pregnant women, breastfeeding women, postpartum women, babies, infants, and children under the age of 5. So in other words, children who are 4 years old, under 5 years old. What is WIC? It's a very unique program. Unlike SNAP, it's not just a food program, it's also a public health program. So it combines public health and food. WIC provides, among many things, supplemental food packages. It also promotes breastfeeding and offers support. It offers nutrition counseling, health education, referrals to healthcare providers, and other social services as well. WIC eligibility, very briefly, like we mentioned, there are the 4 categories. There's also a household income eligibility requirement, and they'll ask about your household composition. And there's also something called adjunctive eligibility that makes this process much more quick. If you're on Medicaid and you're on SNAP or TANF, you automatically qualify for the WIC program. So it's just an easier way to apply, called adjunctive eligibility. WIC used to be, you had to use these WIC checks. That's not the process anymore. No more paper checks. It's now an e-WIC card, an electronic card that looks like this on the lower hand right corner. And it's called e-WIC, and it's been in use since 2019 in New York State. Some quick facts about WIC. It's not part of the public charge, just like WIC, just like SNAP. And it's not only just for mothers and their children, it's also for primary caregivers. So we're talking about dads, grandparents, foster parents can apply on behalf of their eligible children. And WIC does not take into consideration immigration status. So unlike SNAP, there's no citizenship requirement. And again, you can contact us. This information will be provided to you. We speak 4 languages: English, Spanish, Russian, Mandarin. So you can call us or email us Monday to Friday. Lastly, for the food resources, I'm going to talk about pandemic EBT. I'm sure you're very familiar with this. It's automatic enrollment for this program. It's due to the shutdowns that the pandemic caused. A lot of kids rely on breakfast and lunch in the schools. So every child who is enrolled in a school that participates in the national lunch program is automatically enrolled regardless of income, immigration status. So we're just going to provide a little bit of information in terms of distribution. Many of you are probably familiar with this already. 4 main methods. The first method is the funds were distributed in your SNAP EBT card if you are on SNAP. The second method is through your Medicaid CBIC card if you receive Medicaid. The third method is on your PBT card if you received one last year and you spent that money. And if you don't qualify for either of those categories for various reasons, they will mail you a brand new PBT card as well. If for any reason you did not receive that, or you would like more information on the status of your balance or activating a PIN, you can call the EBT customer service line here at this number. Also, there's a website link that's provided. At the bottom, there's also the PBT helpline for New York State if you're having trouble activating the card. Lastly, we provide an online form that you can fill out if you have questions related to pandemic EBT. And again, if you unable to activate your card or want to request a replacement card because it was lost, stolen, or damaged. Also here, there's a link if you want to check the distribution status of the schools in New York State, and you can get an idea of how, when the funds or if the funds have been distributed. And there are some resources here, some Q&As, some frequently asked questions from our partners at Community Food Advocates and New York State OTDA as well. Lastly, I just want to speak about the COVID-19 vaccine. We're conducting outreach to encourage as many people as possible to get vaccinated. Currently in the United States, we have about 65% of the population that's at least partially vaccinated. In New York City, that for adults, that's closer to 85% who are at least partially vaccinated. We're talking about adults, not the children under 18. Some basic information about the COVID vaccine. It helps protect against the new Delta variant. It's 96% effective, and Delta variant is 5 times more infectious. So you can, apologies, it's double the level of infectiousness. The original COVID strain infected 2, you could infect 2 people. Of the Delta variant, you can infect as many as 5. So it's much more transmissive. Also, the vaccine saves lives. It's estimated that 250,000 new infections were started. Over 8,000 deaths were prevented, and about 44,000 hospitalizations were prevented as well. 99% of those who have coronavirus, new cases of coronavirus, are from unvaccinated New Yorkers. Also, vaccines are free. They don't take into account your health insurance or your immigration status, and it's available for everyone who's 12 and older. However, if you're a child between the ages of 12 and 17, you can only get the Pfizer vaccine at this moment. And we're expecting approvals for children under 12, so ages 5 to 11, at the end of this month or early in November. So.
And that is, and thank you, Anthony, for that great presentation. That is the reason that we're doing this presentation, and we also want, as part of the outreach, as part of this great work, that, as you know, we want everyone, every person, every children, parents, teachers to be vaccinated. We're looking to bring the mobile ban on November the 3rd, of course, once you approve it, to see into outreach in the community how important it is to get the vaccine, especially in this difficulty of the pandemic time. As Anthony mentioned, you heard about what he said about this vaccine. So we're definitely looking to work with you to kind of connect with the community and the children, just especially now that it's going to be by November, by the end of the beginning of November for children. So it is important for us to work together on this to bring the mobile ban to the school. I know you might have questions, or we're hoping to see how can we work together, and now with this school and other schools, just to make it happen and have a healthy community, especially with children and parents and seniors, and just to definitely be safe on this pandemic. Go ahead, Anthony. Mm-hmm.
Yes, so we'd be happy to organize a vaccination site. We have a partnership with New York Department of Health and Health and Hospitals. But in the meantime, there's also information online if you want to book an appointment. You can visit vaccinefinder.gov, or you could also call our own Vax hotline number, and one of our operators can help you book an appointment, find a testing site, or if you lost your vaccination record, they can help you with that as well. Also, if you want to schedule an in-home vaccination visit, any person 12 years and older can schedule an in-home vaccination visit, and we can also do that through our Vax hotline as well. This is our contact information, Philomena, myself. If you want to reach out to us, email us. This will be part of the package. So, again, don't worry about jotting this all down. It will be part of our follow-up. And thank you for your time. If there are any questions, we'll be happy to answer them.
Thank you very much. Excellent presentation. I wish we would have had this information a year and a half ago, because we received those cards and nobody knew, and some people even throw them out.
Wow.
Nobody knew about the program. Now, I have a question, because I often get all of the parents concerned, and this one I couldn't. I really needed help with. If a foster child receives the benefits through a foster parent, and then that foster child belongs to another foster parent this year, how does the transition happen from one foster parent to the other? What does the second foster parent has to do to make that transition?
Well, that's a very case-specific question. I can say that I think the SNAP would follow the child, not the parents. I think there's some transfer that occurs, but that's something we could follow up with our benefits access specialist, Anna Ari.
And definitely maybe also just to add what Anthony just mentioned, maybe in the next meeting, maybe we could bring a rep from the SNAP department that maybe will be able to answer questions on that regard also. Maybe that will be a follow-up for the next meeting coming up, maybe in November. If you let us know, we could definitely send one of our reps to kind of answer questions on this regard, and they will be happy to answer those. But of course, it's a good question. In definite, I'm pretty sure that they'll be able to answer it in expertise ways. Mm-hmm. Thank you, sure.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We will be planning something in the future. Anthony and Ms. Acevedo, thank you very much for your presentation. Is there any other question that we could answer? I know that in the chat we were talking about the iExcel platform and the accounts. I just to clarify, the iExcel works with a classroom teacher. So as the child progresses to another year, the account resets and the challenges become a little harder. Children don't like for this to happen, because they have their prizes and their medals and everything that the program gives them, but it starts all over again. And the beauty of that program is that they could follow the class curriculum in one track, but they also could do other things that they need practice on. If they need multiplication tables, if they need to learn how to divide, everything is there for them to practice, and it's like a tutor aside from whatever happens in the classroom. So that's something that iExcel is able to provide. With the emails account, we are moving from the @ms390.com. The students will use @students.net, and all the staff will use @schools.nyc.gov. That is, we are going to move on. Of course, all of our emails will still work to receive information, but the information going out will be with an email address for everybody. So you will be receiving emails from me and from other staff now with a different address. But if you find one of our old emails that you want to reach out to us, that's going to be forwarded to a new account. So don't worry. we're going to stay in contact. Alrighty then. Well, thank you very much, everybody, for coming. The next meeting then, 2 weeks from now, should be on November 3rd. Look for the November calendar for confirmation of that meeting. Thank you very much. Have a great rest of the evening. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Good night.
Thank you.